man?
What's good, my man? How are
Oh,
you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, real good, man. It's a pleasure to actually finally speak to you, man.
Pleasure to be here, man.
How you been? Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I've been good, man. I've been, just working a lot, chopping up these music videos, and I just got back in the studio now, so I'm working on a new album, and yeah, just work, man. Can you see me okay?
Yeah, it's only the top of your head. There we
Okay,
are.
better.
There
All
we
right.
are. But
How you
yeah,
been?
man, I've been real good, man. You amaze me all the time because the music videos, man. How do you do it?
I got to give a big shout out to my girl, man. She's the one over there shooting them. So, one of the things that I did was I was like, I have to think about how I'm going to do this when I shot my first music video. And I could have paid somebody to do it for like $5,000 or something like that. But I was like, I want to keep doing them and be consistent with it. So I was like, why don't I just buy my own camera, figure out Final Cut Pro, figure out the editing stuff, and kind of put the work in. And it sounded like a crazy idea to people back then, 2 years
Yeah.
ago. But now, we're in full control. So whenever we want to shoot a music video, we just go and shoot it. I add the effects, I do the editing and stuff, and then we put it out whenever we want to. I make so much music that I kind of needed the videography standpoint to match that. So that's kind of why we did that.
Yeah, no, it's just amazing. Like every time I wake up in the morning, I hop onto YouTube and it's like Nick Nittoli drops another video. I'm like, Jesus, man, this guy doesn't sleep.
Yeah, man, we working out here, man.
Yeah, and I'm loving the versatility you've been going for lately. Like there's been some rock tracks, R&B tracks, country tracks. It's really dope, man. It's like showing different sides. I mean, one of my favorite albums that you did was Amaruka.
Okay.
And that blew up in this house quite a bit. My son loves that. My daughter enjoys that. Even my wife, like Amaruka, really blew up in this
Oh,
house.
man,
And
thanks. I appreciate that, brother.
yeah, man. And I think ever since we've been big Nittoli fans. But
Right on. You guys, man, anytime you guys want to do something like this, I'm down for it because you guys have been some of my biggest supporters from the jump, from like the moment that I came out with my music. You guys have been backing me, and it's funny that you wake up to a new video post because I always wake up to a new Lyrical Assassins post. So I'm just like, you guys are working as hard as me, man.
yeah, no, I love doing it. I love finding stuff that you don't see every day. You know, like you put on the TV, we get bombarded with the same stuff, the same messages, the same styles.
Right.
And I think YouTube is as bad as YouTube can be. It's definitely opened up so many doors for people like yourself to say, look, there's an alternative out there. There's different out there,
Yeah,
and
man,
it's
big time.
really interesting.
I mean, for me, it's like I wanted to do something as an artist that I've never heard an artist do before. So for me, I've heard, Eminem, for instance, did that song "Sing for the Moment" with Aerosmith, or that Aerosmith sample and stuff, and he kind of had rock vibes. But Eminem never came out with a real rock song. So as a
Yeah,
fan of music, I always wanted somebody like me. I was like, why doesn't somebody try something new and try, do a rock song, then do a trap song, then do a country song? Like, it sounds outlandish to the labels because they're like, well, how the fuck are we gonna market you? And for me,
yeah,
it's like, look, I'm gonna market myself at the end of the day, so I don't really need, like the label helps, but I really push my stuff, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
for me, it's like I just wanted to be an artist that I've never heard before, and that's kind of what I'm doing.
Yeah, and to me, like when I see people doing that, like playing with different styles and putting different stuff out there, it brings back that. It reminds me of like Michael Jackson in the '90s,
That's right.
where you never knew what was coming
I
next.
just
You
got
didn't
to
know.
hear.
Yeah. I mean, he was the man when it comes to versatility,
Big time.
and it was actually the interview you did an interview a couple of weeks ago. I remember watching it. It was the one you shouted out the Lyrical Assassins on.
Oh, right on.
And some of the when you was talking about your influences, I was like, damn, this is exactly the same as me. Because MJ was big for me in music. He was kind of the guy that wouldn't not introduce me to music, but introduced me to love music
Right
and
on.
understand music and actually resonate with it. It weren't a sound no more. It was an emotion. And yeah, from there, and then as I got older, I led into hip hop and rap. And but I actually fell out of love with music from about 2010 onwards. I started to fall out of love with it a little bit. It kind of got repetitive.
Good coming out at that time.
Yeah, but now I think the last 2 years, like seeing some of you guys on the internet now, it's just amazing. It all brings it all back for me. It's like, oh, I can enjoy it like I used to when I was younger again.
Yeah, I think that we're in a very interesting time right now, mainly due to social media and just like you were saying, the fact that people can just get on YouTube and do their thing. But music has changed so much that I feel like the 2020 version of songs and music right now is going to be very hybrid, very different, very like interchange and stuff. I mean, you're talking about people who are writing and producing music right now. They listen to so much different music and so much fusion and bands that mix rap and rock like Limp Bizkit and so much stuff that had kind of, you know, inspired us. And Michael, for me, like songs like Dirty Diana were kind of the inspiration for me to be like, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want to do because, you know, Michael did it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And it's that adrenaline rush as well. When a song gives you that adrenaline rush in the back of your neck, and you really feel it, and I think from that point, it's like, I don't just enjoy this song. I want to be like this person. I want to be able to do what this guy is doing, and it does so much. It's crazy to think that just a couple of waves going into your ears can make you feel like that. It's crazy.
Well, man.
So,
as far as sound frequencies, like if you really go back into like Egyptology, you'll find that the Egyptians used sound to heal people. So they didn't have like a St. Joe's hospital back then. They would literally put you in like this big container where they would like bang a drum, and they believed that the sound waves would actually physically and mentally heal people. And if you look at what today, you know what I mean, like we're doing the same shit, you know, with the headphones on. So music can really change your attitude, your state of mind, and emotions and stuff, man. Very powerful.
Yeah. So for you, what was your favorite project that you've worked on?
As far as like a song?
Yeah, like I don't know, like from one of your albums, like Amaruka, Little Nicky.
Yeah. I had a real spiritual experience writing that song, I Wonder.
Wonder why Tupac had to get shot. One of the greatest rappers alive, but it was more that we lost. A conscious brother on the verge of creating a...
Because I heard the loop, the music and stuff, and I just kind of got really inspired and had like this very passionate, kind of secretive moment with myself where I was just like, you know, I really want to talk about some real shit, and I'm kind of leading the horse to drink the water in that song. I'm not really directly saying what's going on, but I'm kind of giving you like, I wonder what happened to this person. I wonder what happened to that person. When we all really know what happened to some of these people. So that was a really cool experience for me.
Yeah, and that's kind of smart as well, because you're not putting out a narrative. You're giving the person a chance to stop and think about these things, and that's quite smart because, you know, like people sometimes when you put out something that's controversial, the first thing people want to do is challenge it. But you've not done that in that song, and I love that song as well. That I Wonder, that is an amazing song. And but you're giving people the opportunity to ask themselves, and you did the same thing with Believer.
Do you believe in the aliens? Do you believe in the ghosts? Do you believe what you read? Like, do you believe all the posts?
You wasn't telling people, well, this is real, that's real. You were asking them, do you believe in this? Do you believe in that? And I remember I did a reaction, and I was sitting there and I was going, yeah, I do believe that. And I was actually answering your questions instead of reacting to it. And someone actually, one of your fans picked up on it and said, oh, you're the first person to actually answer the questions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was really, really cool. Yeah, that's another one of my favorites as well, Believer, because I've got a big interest in that sort of thing, you know, like things that we don't know about or things that we're not told about, you know. And you know, the media is a confusing place, and I think sometimes we need a voice for someone to say, look, I'm not telling you that they're lying to you, but I want you to think about it.
Sure.
you know, and actually look at what could be and what couldn't be.
Right.
You know, it's an amazing message.
It's an interesting thing, man, because if you talk to your average person today, you know, they'll usually deny everything. They'll say there's no control system. We're not under control. There's no underground military bases. The government's not doing anything like that. But the moment an alien craft comes over here, that same motherfucker will be like, don't worry, everything's under control. The government has us. There's these underground bases where don't worry, we're totally, you know, everything's fine. And I'm like, well, you the same person that said nothing's going on?
But this is the thing, though, isn't it? I mean, we live in, again, with social media, we live in a time where not only have we got access to more things, the decisions become far more confusing.
Sure.
And we get divided even further. You know, I mean, I would have never have guessed 20 years ago if someone would have said to me, say in 2001, that by 2021, I would see, you know, things like, you know, QAnon and Anonymous on the news. I would have laughed my head off and said, nah, that ain't going to go that far. But it kind of has now. It's almost like a neck and neck war between mainstream and alternative.
It really is. It's a scary world right now too, man, because it's like at the end of the day, I think a lot of people have, you know, intuition and they just kind of feel things with their heart and their soul, and that kind of gets deleted the moment they turn on BBC or they turn on CNN, because they're telling you something completely different than what you're feeling and what you're thinking emotionally. You know, a lot of people just have emotional intelligence and they can just kind of suss something out the moment it doesn't seem right. You know what I mean? Like this whole pandemic just doesn't seem right. You know what I mean? But most people are like, well, you know, Anderson Cooper told me everything's okay, so they just forget about it.
Damn, man. So, just trying to think of what else to ask. So, your next project, is it going to be another rap and hip hop, or are you going to be looking into a different genre, different styles?
Shout out to Mama Spider, real quick. I see you. The next project that I'm putting out is going to be pretty much a mix and mashup of every type of genre and every type of style. I mean, I really want it to be like every track, you don't know what's coming. I kind of already did the country thing, and I've done some rock and I've done some hip hop. So now I just kind of want to, now that everybody knows that I do all those styles, I kind of want to merge them all together and just kind of have, you don't know what you're going to click on next, you know?
Awesome. So if you was to pick an era of music, whether 60s, 70s, 80s, that you think had the most influence on not just yourself but on music in general today, what era do you think had the most impact?
I'd have to give it to the 90s, man, because even though a lot of great music that was kind of more thought out came before it, the 90s, Puff Daddy and Mace and B.I.G. and Tupac Shakur and even Michael Jackson was still selling records in the 90s and stuff. They were all like, you know, this immaculate force of music and talent, and videos were just starting to get to a level where we could really, you know, enjoy them, and like, you know, they were a lot more professional in the 90s, and I feel like that influenced even the people that are doing it in 2020 today. So and
I think there was more unity in the 90s as well.
Sure.
Especially amongst, like, I mean, hip hop and metal and rock used to merge all the time. You know, you'd see Kid Rock with hip hop artists. Obviously, we had the Limp Bizkit and the Blink 182s come along and all of that stuff. And whereas now, I think you're right. I think nowadays we're seeing a lot of hybrids and a lot of people trying to be more individual. But it's so difficult now, because no matter what you do in music now, you could easily be compared with somebody that's come before you. You know, it could be, oh, this is another Michael Jackson, or this is another John Lennon, or this is another Eminem.
Yeah,
it's so difficult to be creative.
Yeah, that's kind of what inspired me, is kind of how difficult the music industry is right now. And I'm like, all right, what's the one thing that I know that I'll be the first to do? and that's switch up every genre and just be this multi-genre cat that just goes from one style to the next, and I mean really change it up, like I said, like from the country stuff to hip-hop, R&B, rock, and I mean really give yourself to those genres and really, you know, almost not be able to tell who the artist is. I'm a record label's worst nightmare, just so you know.
I can imagine, man. But it's a good thing though, because you're thinking outside the box.
Yeah, I'm trying to break the boxes so that, you know, in 20 years, if an artist, you know, hears a country song and they kind of want to, or they're writing a country song, but they're a hip hop artist, they'll feel inspired and maybe say, well, Nick Nittoli did it, this, that, and the third. I'm trying to break the boundaries and open up the lanes for other people that are going to come after me, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Big shout out to everyone in the chat, by the way. I can see Marie, Mama Spider, Diego, video clip. Anybody I missed, thank you for coming in. So, I had a fire question in the net just then and it's gone out of my head. I had a great question just then and it's gone out of my head. But no, I think you're right. I mean, creativity is really hard, and but you do a fantastic job at it. The one that shocked me was the rock song that you just put out with the music video.
Jealousy.
You wanna know just where I've been, always asking way too many fucking questions.
Oh man, that was crazy. Do you know what was crazy is I didn't expect it. Even when I saw I looked on YouTube, I saw, okay, Nick's dropped another music video, it's called Jealousy. Didn't think nothing of it. I go over there to watch it, and even when it started, I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is cool. And then all of a sudden I'm thinking he's just pulled off a rock track, and it was fire, man. It gave me that Papa Roach vibe, kind of like when Papa Roach.
That's so funny that you said.
When they did like Smooth Criminal and stuff like that.
Roach.
You're a big fan.
I went to the studio and I was like, what would Papa Roach do in 2020? And, you know, it came out so good that I was like, damn, should I pitch this to Papa Roach? And I'm like, no, fuck that. Just your thing. Nigga, do your thing. But yeah, that was the inspiration, 100%. And that's another band that inspired me to kind of do, you know, the mixing of genres. And they were like hip hop and rap. And they were like with that whole POD vibe, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I feel like we lost that kind of music. So
where would you see yourself in 5 years time? Where would you like to see yourself?
Well, a nigga's about to be married in 5 years time, so
you could be anywhere.
yeah. I mean, for me, man, like I'm kind of like the Joker in The Dark Knight. Like I don't really make any plans. I just do things. You know what I mean? So for me, like I don't really plan the next 5 years. But what I would hope for is more success. You know, we just charted on iTunes and Billboard this year. That's a huge win. So more of that. Obviously, to get married, maybe perhaps, you know, have some kids in the next 5 years. That's probably around that time. But just to keep going up and to just get more successful with what I'm attempting to do, which is, you know, merge genres and to be an artist that's kind of never been done before. I'm just trying to be as original as possible while still being true to myself, you know?
Yeah, and I've got to give a big shout out to Orchid as well, because her makeup work in your videos is phenomenal. Like the Star Trek theme, the Avatar theme, you know, all of the Aladdin one. The Aladdin one was crazy. Because she was the genie, right? She was the genie.
Jafar. She turned into Jafar.
So did you really know me back then? Did you really know me? Yeah. Cause now you claiming that we best friends when we ain't even homies. Yeah. So did you really know me back then?
Yes, like, yeah.
Recognize
crazy.
She's multi-talented. The big secret to my success, and we're gonna get back into doing a lot more makeup videos. So look out for that. That's coming up soon. But yeah, man, I've got like a little cheat code in pocket because I got an amazing makeup artist. You know, she's so dedicated to her work. She's so talented, and and it's just a win all the way around every time she works with me.
It's amazing work. It's great. It's great what you've done, and obviously, I know you've been busy because you had like a quiet period, and there was a period where you weren't online much, and I think it must have been about, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks. And I was thinking to myself, maybe you took a break, and then all of a sudden, come back and all these albums, music videos, songs flying everywhere. I was like, oh, that's what he's been doing.
Yeah, I mean, the pandemic, I'll be honest, when it first happened, it really did affect me. I mean, we were just in the house, like, you know, just listening for sirens, and we just didn't know what to expect. So we got to a point where we were like, what do we want to do with this? You know, we want to sit and watch CNN every day and get freaked out. And we just decided, we're like, you know, we feel so much better about us and our lives when we're being creative and when we're doing something that's, you know, with right brain energy and creativity. So we just started, I don't remember what video it was first we did in the pandemic, but the moment we did that, I looked at her and I was like, much better day today, didn't we? And she was like, you better believe it. So we're, you know, just consistently avoiding the mind control, avoiding the pandemic by staying active and staying creative, you know?
Yeah, no, that's good. And it's good to be able to do that as well, because I mean, over here, I mean, I don't know what the lockdown and everything's been like over there. I know a little bit from friends. Over here, it's been crazy. And
really?
But the one thing I've noticed is the damage that's not being addressed is the amount of damage that's being done to kids, man. The kids have really suffered. Yeah. Like,
Amen.
They've been like stripped away from their schools. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't always agree with what the schools teach anyway. Sometimes they're a bit biased. But it's the social aspect of it. You know, they don't see their friends for almost a year, you know, and they're stuck indoors. They're relying on PlayStation and tablets.
Totally. And it's not even only the younger kids who are really being affected because they're so young, but it's also the kids that are graduating and not having a prom and not having like a winter formal and all this shit. It's like, it's really affecting all aspects of academia right now. And I'm 100% against it. You know, just like you said, I'm not for the school system and what they teach and preach all the time. But at the same time, there is some normality you get from going to school and, you know, meeting with your friends, talking and eating lunch together and stuff. And they're just, you know, stripping that away from them. And we have no idea what these kids are going to end up like. You know what I mean? They're all glued to their cell phone like this. It's like, you know, we that didn't happen with us. So, and you're seeing the product. So it's like, I don't know what to expect in the next 20 years because a lot of these kids might be fucked up from the pandemic. It's crazy.
Yeah. And do you know, only just today, I saw an advert. It was a government advert on the TV regarding, because we're supposed to be coming out of lockdown between now and June. We're gradually opening up.
So you guys
we was locked down from March last year till the summer, and then right after summer they locked us down again. We were supposed to open up for Christmas, and then right before Christmas the Prime Minister come out and said nope, we're staying locked down. So everyone had to stay at home for Christmas and not see their families.
So
and
like
then
everything's closed down, or is it starting to open back up a little bit, or no?
The restaurants and the stores opened last week for the first time since 6 months ago. And you can only, if you go out for something to eat or you want to go to a bar and drink, you have to sit outside. There's no inside's not allowed. And what made me crazy is the government put out an advert and said, when going out, make sure you do everything outside and stay outside because the virus will blow away. This is what they're saying in their advert. So I'm sitting there thinking to myself, so why the hell have you kept me in for a whole year?
Yeah.
If I could have just gone outside and been safer.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. They're just starting to open up things right now. I just went and saw a movie with my chick for the first time in like a year. I'm a big movie cat. I love to go to the movies. And so that was a cool experience for me. I'm sitting like 20 feet away from people. There's barely anybody in the theaters, which I can't really complain about, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm not mad at that part. But still, it's like, you know, this is a cold. You know, this is a flu. So it's like, at the end end of the day, they don't really care about our safety, because if so, motherfuckers with AIDS would have been quarantined, 20 years ago. This is something that actually kills people. You see what I'm saying? So there's actually contagious diseases that could really fucking kill you, and that's not a problem. If somebody's walking around with something in their blood that could potentially kill me and my loved ones, but this cough and this sneeze is going to do it. It's all about control, man. This has been the big plan for a long time, and this is what every conspiracy theorist was saying, was going to happen, and now we're here. So for me, it's just it just makes me
they're
believe
telling us.
I read more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're now telling us from next week, masks will no longer be a requirement. And on the news, they've not said why. They've just said from next week, masks are not been a requirement, and they've made it look like a part of us opening back up. They've cleverly made it look like, oh, you don't need masks now because we're okay. But if you actually go onto the internet and read up behind the scenes, what's actually happened is 7 companies in the UK are currently going through court for fraud, because they've been lying about whether the masks work or not. But seven companies are being taken to court for fraud because they've been telling people that the masks work, and it's come out that they don't. So now 7 companies that were contracted by the government are now going through the courts because independent people have discovered that the mask thing is a financial thing. Basically, the purchase of masks and hand sanitizers has helped keep the economy trickling by while everything else is closing down. So it's like the government protecting itself by making money out of the merchandise, so to speak, whilst they're losing other money from the business sector. It's crazy corruption, man.
Well, there's a big financial aspect to this where it's like, if everything's closed down except for multi-billion-dollar companies like McDonald's and, you know what I mean, like huge companies, well, then the money is getting funneled to only them and only them. So people want to say like, well, I don't, believe Illuminati's involved in this, that, and the third. I'm like, who's getting paid right now? The only people that are making money are people that are billionaires. So it's like, they're getting richer. I just through one of my old neighborhoods, and all these stores that I used to go to as a kid are closed down. They fucking closed Amoeba Music, which has been around for like 40 years, and it's getting crazy, getting wild. So there's definitely a plan, there's definitely an agenda, and we just got to be privy to it, man.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I hear a lot of people like from both sides of the pond, from your side and my side, and they're all saying, oh, the country's going to go broke, the country's going to go broke. And I keep telling them, I said, no, we're going to go broke. The country's fine. The country's fine. Money doesn't disappear. It just moves. It moves and it stays still. People think money disappears. It's like, no, it moves somewhere else, and it either stays there or moves somewhere else. It doesn't disappear. So the country's fine. It's us that's ruined. It's because we've got no more means or less means to get to it. And those that are holding it are the ones that were there in the first place.
Totally. They shut down, family-owned businesses and hardworking people that are, average Joes and stuff. And that's really what makes America run at the end of the day. So they really are coming for us. You know what I mean? They're not coming for multi-billion-dollar companies. I didn't see any Burger Kings or McDonald's closed down. I saw like people who just made their own food closed down and shit like that. Yeah. So it's an overall takeover right now, and that's why it's so important for us to do our job and do our due diligence in fighting back and making songs or making YouTube videos and making posts like you have, etc., and supporting the people that are also making posts and stuff. That's why I'm doing a lot of conspiracy podcasts. I'm talking with a bunch of people that are, anti-establishment, anti-government, and it's for a reason, because it's like I feel a responsibility knowing what I know to get this out to the public. It's very important to me.
Yeah, and I've seen that effort from the very beginning that we discovered you. It was actually my wife that discovered you, by the way.
Oh, really?
Marie, you discovered Nick, didn't you? Yeah, she was. It was your track god.
No, y'all don't really wanna get in. I got that witch hand, boy, I'm really with the spelling. It's my rookie year, I'm doing numbers like a veteran. They ain't fucking with the kid like they really dumb molesting.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. And so we started doing the reactions. Well, actually, we got one of my friends beat me to it and did a reaction first. And then I watched the reaction and I was like, holy shit, I need to jump on this wave. And but the one thing I noticed straight away was the amount of work you were doing for children, which was really admirable. What brought you to that point where you felt, right, this is what I got to do?
Well, for one, I was almost abducted as a child. So for me, I was lucky enough to get away. So there's a personal stake in this. You know, I was this close to being taken and possibly sold into child sex trafficking. Who knows? So for me, that was one of the scariest days of my life. And as a child, the worst thing that could ever happen was to be ripped away from my parents and taken somebody else. So I'm like, this is a real thing that's happening. This is a real nightmare that's being created for children. And as an adult, you know, I'm like, ain't nobody gonna stick me in the white van now. So what am I gonna do to help somebody who's, you know, smaller and you know, less of an adult? I'm gonna put my voice out there, and I'm going to team up with people and charities and foundations and use my voice to try to stop this terrible, atrocious act that's happening and being done in our country and in many other countries. So, yeah, you know, the moment I put my voice out there and showed that I was passionate about this, so many people rushed to me and were gravitating to what my message. And so I realized, I was like, this isn't just me. You know what I mean? Like there's some moms who actually had children that were taken from them that were like in my DM and messaging me and saying, thank you so much for the work that you're doing. And I'm like, look, man, I could be on the Billboard charts, I could be on the iTunes charts, but if I'm on this mom's chart, that shit is so much more important and impactful to me. It's not even funny. So I realized I was like, some work that was much more important than YouTube views and, you know what I mean, Instagram followers. This was on a spiritual morality tip. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the thing is, like, over here in this country, it's heavily under policed. It's not policed very well. You know, they don't get much time for what they do. Most of them get less than 10 years, some less than 5 years, some only a few months. And yeah, it's crazy. Ronix, brother. So I'll just give a shout out to Ronix. He's been supporting me, man. I really appreciate his support.
What's good? Everyone is in here. Thank you very much for coming in. Yeah, so it was, and we've actually got groups of people here now. They go online. They're normal people, but they've sort of joined up into teams. And then what they do is they go out and they catch these guys. They put them on blast on the internet. But what they do is when they catch them and they're questioning them on the phone, they notify the police and they hold them there until the police arrive. And it's because like and to be honest, like some of these do-gooders at the top say that, oh, we shouldn't have vigilantes and things like that. But the thing is, the police have not been given the means to fight this problem. So eventually you're going to have parents that are going to go, well, we got to do something, you know?
Oh, of course. Well, yeah, the more we learn about this, the more we realize that a lot of these predators work to get in positions of power and work to get in protective services and stuff like that so that they can get more kids. So, you know, as a predator, to position yourself in a place where you can not only groom children, which is like baseball coach, soccer ball coaches, stuff like that, you know, high school, stuff like that. But you have to think like a predator. You have to think about, you know, most people don't have this mindset. Most people are what we like to fucking normal, and they don't think like this. But you have to think like that and try to, you know, see what it would be like to be a predator and realize that you want to be in the best position you can. So that means the police officers need to be really looked at. The child protective services, like I mentioned, this is where children are, where these motherfuckers are. So it's our job to kind of sniff it out and to, you know, do our due diligence, man, and to really press these motherfuckers right now. I mean, everybody in Hollywood is saying that, you know, they're with Save the Kids movement, but one of them has condemned Ghislaine Maxwell, has condemned Jeffrey, has condemned Harvey Weinstein. None of these motherfuckers are really about it. So for me, I'm like, look, I'm a signed artist. I'm with a huge, like, have a lot of views. I have a lot of clout on Instagram, etc. I'm going to direct that toward this so that people know that that's really what I'm about. And shout out to people like Tim Ballard and the Underground Railroad. I can't wait to see this movie that he's doing with Jim Caviezel, you know, and shout out to Jim Caviezel for talking adrenochrome and all this stuff that's really going on. Those are the people that we should be applauding, not beyond say, and not because they ain't doing shit for the culture. They're not doing shit for us or our children, which is the most important thing. The children are the future. So you have multi-millions, maybe $billions, and you're not going to say anything about what happened on Epstein. You're not going to say anything about the corruption that's going on in the media and the kids that are being taken from their homes and from their moms. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm not with it.
Yeah. I say shout out to Mark Zuckerberg. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, exactly.
You came in and froze your ass.
Shout out Real McCool, guys.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you all for coming in. So, yeah, man. I mean, it is crazy, and they must have a sociopathic. They must have to have like be quite sociopathic already to be able to achieve that. I mean, to be able to get into a position of power which probably doesn't match your personality, but because it gets you to your goal, then you have to become a sociopathic person to reach that stage, because 100%. Me and you couldn't do that. We couldn't be that fake for that long, you know.
Exactly. You know, these are talented motherfuckers, I'll be honest with you, because a lot of them have worked up to, you know, usurp very, very big levels of power and are in, you know, very big positions in government and, like I said, child protective services and all these crazy things so that they could, you know, get children and, you know, move children and traffic children all over the world. I mean, this is going on all over the world. You know what I mean? America's not the only place. So, you know, we started waking people up with the Wayfair stuff and adrenochrome last summer. It was a hot summer for these motherfuckers. They were sweating, but it died down. Let's be honest, it really died down. We're not seeing that many posts and stuff about it. So, you know, a big passion of mine is to really focus in on that, to write more music that's just solely dedicated to that, and to do music videos that really, you know, reflect what's going on in the culture right now. And like I said, it's like a moral responsibility. I feel like I really need to do this.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic, man. I commend you so much, you know, just for that alone, you know, even like you put out great music, you know, you support people back, and to be doing that plus, you know, things like taking care of the kids and putting out good messages and just asking people to stop and think for a minute. They haven't got to believe your side of the story, but at least think of your own. Don't let anyone else, you know, force a narrative. And I think that's a fantastic message to put out, because no one's putting that message out. Not really.
I appreciate that. Right back at you, man, because it takes this very special, spiritual kind of individual to see my message and to back me. And once I told you about this stuff, you were all over it. You started your own channel. You started, you know, I mean, you were already reposting my stuff, but you were really reposting the stuff that me and Muddy did. And, you know, I really appreciate you as an individual, man. I really appreciate your support, because it's much more than just an Instagram cat who's liking my posts or reposting my shit. I feel like you're a soul brother on the front lines of a war with me, just like Muddy Up. You know what I mean? These are people that are really about it. And at the end of the day, you know, our spiritual currency is coming back to us. Our karma is coming back to us in the best ways. So, yeah, shout out to you, man.
No, thank you. Shout out to you. And it's been an absolute pleasure to speaking to you. I've got, before I go, I've got one person who wants to say hello to you.
Oh, let's do it.
Harry, come here. Your biggest fan. Come here. He's gone all shy, bless him. Say hello.
Hello.
What's up, Harry? How you doing, bro? You shy? Don't be shy. We're on Instagram Live.
Hello.
Nice
Hello.
Hello.
What's your favourite song?
Run.
He likes Run.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, run? I got the Run T-shirt on right now. It says, "I run better than the government," and you better believe it.
I do.
Hey, thank you for listening to my music, buddy. Thank you. Appreciate you.
You're all right. He's gone red in the face. Bless him.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Adorable, man. Adorable. Y'all make some beautiful kids, man.
Hey, tell him.
I'm 7 years old.
You're 7 years old. Wow, what
Yeah.
a big boy you.
You're very clever, aren't you? Good at maths.
What a
He loves
big man.
maths.
Are you gonna do what your dad does? Get on YouTube and do some React Family Footsteps?
He wants to, yeah. He wants to do gaming.
Awesome. Awesome. Is he at school right now?
Yeah, he's at school.
Is he out of
They've
school?
got a week. He's been in school. They was locked down till was it March, Marie, or April? March. They went back in March, and then they were off for the Easter holidays, and then
Okay.
they went back last week.
Ask him what is his favorite part of
I know
school?
last week.
What's your favourite part of school?
That's cool.
What's your favourite part about school?
Science.
Science.
Might have a little chemist in the next room. You never know.
Yeah. Might come home to no house.
Right? Exactly. Adorable, man.
Nick, it's been an absolute pleasure, my man, and thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me, brother. Anytime, you got my full support. Give the wife a nice hug for me, and it's nice
I
meeting
will.
you, Harry.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So
You're nice to meet you too.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, I'll see you again sometime. Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me. This was super fun, bro. I'm gonna repost
Yeah,
it.
no, real fun.
You already
Yeah,
know.
definitely. I'll put it up on YouTube as well, and I'll send you the link.
Dope. Appreciate you, brother. Have a good one, man.
Take care, my man.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
I wonder why we don't stop giving, don't stop giving. I wonder why we don't stop killing.